All right, getting this thing kicked on here. Let's see how we do. Once I get some recording action going here, if I can. I started recording. Looks like some people are starting to pour in here a little bit. How's everyone doing tonight? I want to go ahead. I'm gonna try to see if we can do a screen share. Try to hit the presentation mode. Boom. Okay, let me boom this back here. And this, I think that's right there. Look at that, that's fancy, isn't it? If I want to kind of get pouring in here for a few minutes. Welcome everybody to this is our regular weekly meeting we're actually doing here tonight. I'm sorry, not weekly, our monthly meeting, I should say. We've been doing the weekly here for so long that I forget that we actually just have them once a month. It's always been the second Tuesday of the month for the longest time. And then when all this COVID-19 started, we decided it was going to be great to do these every single week. And I think it got a lot of people through a lot of stuff, and we try to help and give a ton of value. And now we're looking at going back to just the monthly platform. We feel that the monthly platform is probably the best for us at this time because the COVID-19 is kind of like lightening up a little bit. They're opening up restaurants and bars. It's getting warmer out. So give everyone a chance to get out and do more than just real estate like we're doing every day. But this being our normal monthly meeting, we are going to have some vendors on here. Can everyone hear me? Go ahead if you can, please. Nope. I just lost everything here. Moved these orange screens all over the place. Could somebody just kind of put inside the chat box here, if you could, if you can or cannot hear me? I think you should be able to do that. Okay, you can hear me. That's all that matters. As long as one person can hear me, that's perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Tonight's going to be all about the investor versus realtor, not necessarily like versus like they're battling each other, but we battle each other a lot of times in is it something we want to do? I mean, I'm an investor. Should I be a realtor? I'm a realtor. Should I be an investor? Can I be both? What are the rules? And it's just really mind-boggling. So we're going to try to go through that tonight and talk about some of the pros and cons and help people make an educated decision. Let's see how we do all this here. All right, first, let's get started here. So Greater Cleveland REIA exists for networking and educational purposes. When you meet or make a connection through our on or offline network events, it is your responsibility to do your own due diligence and make your own informed decisions on doing or not doing business with that individual or that company. Although you may get advice in our group from one of our many experienced members, vendors, or folks on the leadership team, you should seek your own paid professional advice or your own counsel to verify any information you picked up during one of our events. In other words, just take responsibility for your own actions. That's our little CYA here. So here's what you can expect tonight. We're going to be going through and spending a few minutes with the vendors on here because it is a normal monthly meeting. And the vendors are going to have a chance to go ahead, and when you see your ad on the screen, if you want to jump in and unmute yourself, I believe you are able to do that. You can unmute yourself and you can say a few words about your company. If not, I'm just going to give you a second or so. You can raise your hand, I believe. And if you raise your hand, I can unmute you and you can say something. Otherwise, I'm just going to blast through and say something for you. And for all the attendees, you can all put your questions and answers in the Q&A box. Try to put them in there at the time that the vendor's up there. If you have a question for the vendor, because we will be posting those on our Facebook page, and the vendors can get back to you and they can answer your questions. And during the presentation tonight, if you have questions and answers, we're probably going to take them more at the end, but you can put them out throughout the presentation. And we'll try to take them either right then or at the end, just depending on the pace of the meeting here. All right, we're going to keep this probably just a little over an hour tonight because we do have the vendors. I'm still going to try to talk really fast and keep things moving though, because we all have lots to do. And for every minute we spend on this, it's a minute we're not out making offers on properties and trying to do some deals. And if you miss anything at all on this, it will be on our Facebook page. You can go to Cleveland, Ohio Real Estate. That's the core group. That is our private page. It is private, but it's public. So you have to go ahead and request to be accepted so we can accept who you are. But once you're in, you don't have to be a member of our real estate group or anything to be a member of the Facebook page, and that's where you can post all of your properties on there and look for other great deals. However, if you are a member, then we have our off-market stuff that's actually on our website here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. We're gonna get started with a fancy one here. Auction.com, they actually sent us a video. Let's see if I can make this thing play. And son of a gun, it doesn't look, you know what? I was so cool today, man. My technology was going so great. And it played during my so anyhow, I guess if Auction.com wants to jump on, I can unmute you and you can talk. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about a bunch of cool things about Auction.com on here. Okay, let's see here. Well, Michael Norris is raising his hands, but we have Auction.com on here. Raise your hands if so. Okay, so Auction.com, I'll tell you real quick, they are the premier auction site that's out there on the web right now. They are amazing. They do a lot of stuff with share sales and with bank-owned properties, and you can get some amazing deals on there. We actually in the process right now of working on closing one out with Auction.com. Of course, COVID slowed it down a little bit, but they've been amazing to work with. So you can go to, clearly, Auction.com to get all of your properties, and that's probably the best way to reach them. Let's go ahead. All right, next we have preferred security. Do we have preferred security on here? First, raise your hand. All right, there we go. Let's go. Go ahead.
Okay, hi Rob. Thanks for having me again. Hello everyone.
Hey.
Joe Moran, owner of Preferred Security. And we provide portable security options for your properties as they're being renovated or after they're renovated, when you're ready to sell or rent them. There's no long-term contracts, so they are leased month to month. And all you really need is power. In some situations, we can work with just truck batteries for a couple months and work with those. We also offer permanent security systems for homes and businesses, as well as camera systems, access control for apartment buildings. But what we work a lot with in RIA is the portable security systems. You can have the option to turn it on and off when you're not on the site to make sure your property is alarmed, as well as know if your actual workers are coming or going. I think that pretty much covers it in a nutshell. We are linked with your Facebook, but my name is Joan Moran. You can text me or call me at 440-821-1037. And my email address is jm.preferred1@gmail.com. And thanks again for your time, Rob.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. You just mute yourself again, and we have J-Dog up next.
Sure.
J-Dog, if you are on there. We got J-Dog on here. J-Dog, raise your hand. Okay. If not, J-Dog is an amazing cleanup company, and they are located in Brunswick, Ohio. So when you buy those big old hoarder houses and they're full of all sorts of stuff and all the things you probably don't want to touch or haul out, or you don't want to get a dumpster and drop in the driveway to notify every inspector in the world you're going to be working in this property, J-Dog is great because they will come in with dump trucks and dump trailers, and they will manually haul all that stuff out of there and broom clean your house and make it look like it was never a hoarder house. Amazing company to work with here. You can contact Kelly Barnes at 330-242-3069. That's 330-242-3069. Next, we have Morningstar. Morningstar Property Cleanup, which would be old Leroy Kime. If Leroy Kime's on here, you can raise your hand. But otherwise, Leroy is much like the J-Dog. They kind of do the exact same thing in the exact same market. And there's probably more than enough work to keep both of them and even more busy because it is a non-stop cleanup. It's amazing all these tenants that move out and they don't take anything with them. I think the worst thing that we've ever found, and Roy could tell a lot of stories about that, we've actually even found left behind deceased people that were cremated, grandma's remains in a little box like down in a pile of laundry. What do you do with that? So Roy never throws them away though. So anyhow, Leroy Kime, great guy to clean stuff up. He will do all the demo hauling. He'll also drop the trailers off if you're tearing a roof off so it's not damaging your driveway with a big old dumpster in there. Leroy's number is 330-410-8304. Next, we have MFS on here. MFS, if you're here, we're going to be coming up with professional eye home inspection. So MFS, if you're on here, you can jump on. Otherwise, I'll do your commercial, which your commercial should be going like this. NFS Supply is an amazing company. They have all the personal safety equipment you need during this time, the gloves, the mask, the sanitizer, and so forth. They're also great. My personal favorite, I love them for their lock boxes, and I love them for their lock changes. Best price in the business, hands down. These guys rock for providing lock boxes and lock changes for these houses. We buy a ton of stuff. I think you can get $10 a box and like $5 for a lock change. Completely amazing prices. And they also have all the kitchen cabinets, knockdown cabinets. They put them together before you deliver them. Really, really great guys to supply stuff over there. Christian Rose, who you want to talk to, I don't believe he's on the call tonight, but you can call him at 440-596-1801. And we're going on to the Professional Eye home inspection business. Are you on here? You should be. You're a new member from last week, and you might have missed this one. Okay. So Professional Eye home inspection business, these guys here, they will go in and be your eyes and ears for about these deals if you can't be there. Lots of these offshore and California investors will hire people like Professional Eye to come in and look at exactly what they're buying, because they are a third independent party that does not have any skin in the game. They don't care whether you buy the house or don't buy the house. They're just going to tell you exactly what's going on with the house. They do residential and they do commercial. Matter of fact, we just referred them out to a big commercial project this week. So maybe that's where they are tonight, is they're out there working on that. You can contact Matt over there at 216-299-1375. And we're going to have Service Sold up here next. Mike Dennis, and Mike Dennis on here, which he doesn't normally like to jump on and talk, but I will talk about Service Sold for him. Unless he throws his hand up here. Service Sold is a kind of a unique way of doing general contracting. It's where it puts us in the driver's seats as the investors. As an investor, I can walk through a house, I can shoot a video, I can take pictures, I can take measurements of a kitchen, a bathroom, a roof, whatever it might be. And I can chunk it down and say, here's my kitchen. It's 12 by 14. Here's the size. Here's the amount of cabinets I'm going to have in here. I'm going to buy and provide the cabinets with MFS, of course. And I'm going to have them all sitting right there. And I'm willing to pay $5,000 to have the drywall, flooring, and everything put together on this. And for doing that, $5,000 go. People can look at it for $5,000, and then someone might look, and then they might say, well, I can do it for $4,900. I can do it for $4,800. And they get to bid on it. Pretty amazing concept to get to do. And you don't have to necessarily take the lowest price on there. What you can do is you can look and choose based off of the reviews and seeing pictures of some other work they've done. So Service Sold, and you can reach Mike Dennis, or you can hit him on our website here at 915-400-7653 is his direct number. And we have MDG Flooring up next, if MDG is on here. And we're going to have Fade Construction after that. So MDG Flooring, actually right before this this meeting went on, I was just looking at some text messages that their installers were texting me pictures of a floor they're putting in one of our projects today. So these guys do solid surface and carpeting, very affordable, but the most important thing, they're very, very professional. These guys are really, really dialed in. They have a regular showroom, a real business. They have a real setup there that they can go out, they measure, they can put your flooring in, send you an invoice, and do a fantastic job. I know a lot of times we get caught up in those big box stores and talking about how much they can save us on some of this stuff. I don't think they can even go after MDG's pricing and MDG's quality. I mean, these guys really, they stick with it and take care of their people. It looks like I have Vicky on here, which I don't know if Vicky is from there or not, but I think that's my next person coming up here. So that's you can get MDG Flooring, and you can talk to Steve over there at 330-304-7786. Next, we're going to have Fade Construction. I think that's Vicky that's on there right there. We're going to have Parker Construction on deck, and a lot of talk. So is this Fade Construction? Vicky? Nope. You there?
No.
Nope. Wrong person. Okay, that was not, can't tell because some people are using their wives' accounts and everything else, their husbands' accounts. So Fade Construction, these guys are large general contractors. They do very well on big jobs. So if you're looking at that full rehab, that full gut out, you can see some pictures on here, some of the stuff they've done. Amazing, huge jobs. They can handle everything from general contracting, from the drywall, roofing, siding, windows, everything. They just handle it. Stick with it. Do a pretty good job at keeping on timeline and on budget, and managing all the hectic craziness that goes along with herding cats, dealing with multiple contractors at one time. So Dade Construction, you can talk to Ace over there at 216-276-1830. And next we're going to have up here Parker Construction and Concrete. Parker Construction and Concrete, these guys are really amazing at the solid surface work. These guys can go in there and throw some concrete down. Really good for tear outs, driveways, garage floors, anything that involves a lot of concrete, anywhere from small walkways to huge parking lots. These guys have got it covered. And you can talk to Ty Parker over there at 330-321-9816. And next we're going to have Triple D LLC. That is Donnie Campbell. If he's here, he can jump up there. And Don Campbell is he is a king here of doing these block walls. You can see a picture here of that was one we recently did, actually, where you have caving in basement walls and big problems. You can go in there and you can jack up these houses and put in new cinder block and save the day. So anything that's really tough, the underground stuff, putting in gas lines, putting in sewer lines, putting in basement walls, all the nasty, crazy stuff that everybody is afraid to tackle, that is exactly what you want to call Mr. Campbell for over there. Next, we're going to Fairway Mortgage. This would be Rich Bailey. If Rich Bailey's on the line, we have iPlan Group Roberta next. So Rich Bailey, if you're on the line, you can jump on there. You want to raise your hand and I will throw you on here. If not, Fairway Mortgage. You know, Fairway Mortgage is a great company, but I'm going to say more about Rich Bailey. Rich Bailey's been in this business like as long as I have. And I've been going on 24 years this year. And this guy just knows mortgages inside and outs. And he's been through it since the beginning of when things were the heyday back in 03, 04, where you could fog a mirror and get a loan, all the way through the crunch where they got rid of all the subprime, all the way through the FHA we've had recently, and now through all this COVID, who knows what's going to happen next. But this guy here can navigate you through. So you're going to call Rich Bailey over Fairway Mortgage. Really good for the purchase stuff. If you're selling a house retail that you've rehabbed and you're looking for an end user for it, he does an amazing job. Also, for any of you investors out there that are just getting started and you don't have a bunch of houses and mortgages already, he's a really good connection for that, for getting you financed in your first, probably a few deals on there. And you can call Rich directly at 330-571-2692. And we are hopping over to Roberta here at the iPlan Group. Roberta, are you on here? You probably are. If you want to raise your hand. Okay. No. Oh, shoot. I saw you on there earlier. Oh, there you are. Where'd you just go? Can you unmute? There you go. So, Roberta, here you go. Are you on there? Where's my little button? I lost you. Raise your hand again there if you can. There you are. Now let's try it. There you go. You there?
You hear me now?
I can hear you now. Everything is moving around,
Great.
people coming in and out and stuff. So Roberta, go ahead. iPlan Group.
All right, we're going to give you a breather, Rob. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here once again. Roberta with iPlan Group. We're a self-directed IRA administrator, and we're helping clients and investors like yourself take advantage of self-directed IRAs for tax-advantaged investments. We're located in Westlake. We are a national company. We're built by investors for investors, important to keep in mind. So we have a culture internally for investor-minded people that serve you. We do same-day processing, also huge, at no extra cost. We have a personal client experience over at iPlan Group. We answer the phone, which is sometimes a surprise to some people, but you will not get caught in a phone queue over at iPlan Group. So just be sure to check out our website at iplangroup.com, iplangroup.com. We do have some current information there about the CARES Act. We also have some recent articles that will be of interest to you. And just a side note, clients are doing well. Self-directed IRA investors are staying very confident because they have, of course, investments outside of the stock market as well as in. And if you do want to do some stocks, bonds, mutual funds with your IRA funds, you can do that at iPlan Group as well. Be sure to reach out to me to ask me about that. And also gold. We do precious metals as well. So if you're interested there, and we do have an event tomorrow. You can check out my LinkedIn site or my LinkedIn profile, or you can email me directly or give us a call, and I can give you an invite for a webinar tomorrow at 4 p.m. And that's going to be on mineral rights inside of your IRA. Phone number 440-484-5566, 440-484-5566, or email me. I think that's on the screen, but it's rhudy, Hudy, at iplangroup.com. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Rick. You can just mute yourself. That'd be great. iPlan Group, thanks so much for being on here. And next up, we have Russo and Ricky. So it's either Angelo Russo or Mike Ricky. And I see Mike Ricky on there. I guess they don't have eviction court this late. Mike, you on?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Fantastic. You're doing such a good job, Rob. I should just allow you to continue to talk for us.
Right.
Thank you. And I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Mike Ricky. I'm a partner with Russo and Ricky. My partner, Angelo Russo, and I focus on real estate business needs. Whether you need assistance with buying or selling property, title work, evictions, property violations, general landlord-tenant questions, appealing property taxes, whatever the case may be, give us a call and we can help you out. Initial consultations are at no charge. So everyone knows that, every municipal court right now is really operating differently. Some allow you to file actions, some don't. Some are about to open. Others seem like they're never going to open. And I say that in tongue in cheek. We'll all get back to normal here at some point in time. But in all seriousness, if you have property in Cleveland or intend to, there are significant changes in the Cleveland Municipal Court regarding the housing court, whether it be the new judge, new staff, the fact that legal aid will be providing free legal counsel to tenants down there, along with a multitude of other issues. So make sure you have proper legal counsel when dealing with the Cleveland Housing Court or any local municipal court. And more importantly, be smart, stay safe. And if you have any legal troubles, give us a call and we'll get you through it. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it, sir. All right, next we are going to have Mike Norris from Farmers Insurance on there. And then we have David Streeter on deck here. Mike Norris, are you on here? Want to raise your hand if you are? And I will throw you up here. Otherwise, Mike Norris, he is the you didn't raise your hand. There you go, Mike Norris. You can talk yourself. So do your own commercial, sir. You're up. Yo, Mike. Yep. You there? I hit you on mute.
One more time. What about now?
All right. You're good now. Can you hear me now?
Right on.
There you go.
Michael Norris specializes in landlord properties and investor properties from just one unit to hundreds. We can find the property and a company to insure that with. And my contact info is on there. The 216-831-0400. Email's on there. You want to talk about your insurance program for your investment property, give me a call.
Thank you much, Mr. Norris. All right, David Streeter, Streeter Law, are you on here? So raise your hand. David Streeter, Streeter Law. Okay, so David Streeter from Streeter Law, he is also a real estate attorney, handles evictions and foreclosure actions and takes care of all sorts of stuff with housing courts or anything else, any of the needs. Seems like lawyers are always going to be busy in this business with real estate investing. You can get David Streeter directly at 216-407-6644. That's 216-407-6644. Next on deck here, we have a Specialized Trust Company. Do we have anyone on here from them? Do we have Specialized Trust? Okay, they are also a self-directed company here, and the self-directed IRA 401k space. So any of you folks that are looking to take your retirement funds, or maybe you've been furloughed from your job or laid off, or you want to roll some money over and start buying real estate with it, these are great guys. These are the type of guys that you can throw your money in there and you can own real estate inside of a tax sheltered account. So, you're on there, come on by. No, let's go ahead and meet you there. Okay. Next we have on deck, we have Neil Wolf from North Coast Commercial Group. And Markowitz is usually on here with us. I know Neil is not here because Neil is a true banker that works 9 to 5. But let me tell you what, these guys are beasts at the private lending sector. They are doing hard money loans. They're about 15% interest, a 12-month balloon. They do charge a couple points. They are still lending during all this. They've been in business for years, and they're just continuing to go. And the best part about them is they also have softer money. So I know they have a program out there right now. They have 8% money available for people with a 620 score and better for a property that's already finished at a 70% loan to value. So for people who are trying to get out of some of their personal portfolios and get them out of hard money and pull some cash out on to continue to grow, go give Neil a call. Great people to work with over there at 440-364-9954. That's 440-364-9954. Next on deck, we have iPlan Group. I'm sorry, not iPlan Group. Wow, that was a slip of the tongue there. It was Equity Trust. Sorry about that, Equity Trust. They are also a company that does self-directed IRAs. They are located in Westlake, and their founder, Dick Desich, was actually one of the guys that made it possible to even do this in the first place. He read the tax code and found out that you can direct investments in real estate and started growing this back in 1973, I believe, and grew it all the way up to this monstrosity they are today over in Westlake, right there over up at 90. Equity Trust, you can get a hold of Kent over there at 440-323-5491. And it's 440-323-5491. And now we are going to have our last and our newest member. I don't know if they're on here tonight or not. They better be, because they just joined, and hopefully they're going to show up after just joining. But these folks over here, we have Rebecca at the Open Mind LLC, and these guys are commercial painting and cleaning, customized services for realtors, property managers, investors. These are really some of the things that all of us need all the time. We get done with these projects, people move out, and even after J-Dog and Roy, they do a great job of cleaning the houses out. They're not ready to move into, they're just broom clean. And these are the folks that can come in there and get it all ready to move right into and do the final cleaning on there for us. So you can reach Rebecca, our newest member, and welcome aboard here at 216-224-2999. All right, well, that's not too bad. 27 minutes to get through all of those. I tried to keep things moving as quickly as I possibly could here tonight, but those are all of our vendors, and I really, really encourage people to support them as much as they can, especially in a time like this. You know, small businesses, I mean, I don't think there's anyone on there that is, no matter how big they seem, that isn't still considered a small business. And especially right now, it's really, really important that we all band together and we try to utilize one another's services and try to really keep our economy strong, because, man, it's going to be a tough go around coming out of all this and trying to get everything fired up again. It's kind of like how they tell you to go to the bathroom after surgery. You ever had been put to sleep with anesthesia, saying, try to get those insides working again? Well, we're trying to get all of our insides, our economy working again. So without further ado, let's get going on this thing here. The big debate on investor versus realtor, and what should you be? Should you be a real estate agent? Should you be an investor? Or could you be both here? So should you be a real estate agent or should you be an investor? You can do both, but you have to begin with the end in mind. See, you can't just jump in and say, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, because you have to ask yourself the question, how do you want to earn your money today? Because you can make money doing anything. Believe me, I am pitched on something just about daily to do some sort of extra business or MLM, or start doing this or selling paint or whatever it might be, being a general contractor. I can make money owning lemonade stands. I can make money as a realtor. I can make money as an investor. What do you want to do? That's the question. So what is your passion? See, most people that want to get into investing, I can tell you just by looking at Facebook ads and watching late night television, it's all about the yachts and the freedom and the big houses and the private jets and the Rolls Royces and everything else. That's what everybody falls into, with it just being a financial decision. I'm really one of those weirdos that I'm passionate about being the house guy. I really, really love houses. I think houses are great. When I walk through, I don't care what type of house it is. It could be halfway falling over and not looking even habitable, not in the best of neighborhoods, whatever it might be. I can truly walk through a house and envision my family and I living there, picking out rooms for the kids, picking out saying, well, I'd put the kitchen over here, or I would try this. And not in a weird way like this flat house, flip that house, flip this flop, or whatever the heck kind of shows are on TV, but in a true, genuine way that I look at these and I get emotionally excited about it. And I'll literally sit there and I sometimes just think about a house I walk through and move walls or change things or raise ceilings or do whatever I'm doing just because I really enjoy it. And is that your passion? Do you enjoy houses, or is it about the money? It's okay to be about the money, because it has to be about the money too. I mean, come on, we're not saving, a rare animal here, or saving the whales or seals or whatever we're saving today, not saving the environment. It is about the money. Don't get me wrong. We're all trying to earn a living here too, but you have to have a little bit of a passion for what you're trying to do. And what are your goals? Is your goals to have just income generating activities where you're going through and just doing real estate brokerage deals or agent deals, I'm saying, where you're working from commission to commission to commission to commission? Or is your goal to build equity and build a property portfolio and have something that you can pass down to generations? Because it's going to determine a lot which direction you go on what you're thinking about the future and what you're thinking about your day-to-day. It's funny, a lot of people tell me they want to get into real estate because they want to quit their day job. They want to get out of the 9 to 5, out of the rat race, and they want to earn more money and work less hours. I got to say, I'm not saying you won't earn more money, but working less hours, I don't know. I mean, right now it's 6:30. I'm doing this. I'm not going to be done with doing this for a while. You're watching this. I'm sure when you guys X out of here tonight, you're all going to be doing something that has to do with real estate, either finishing up a contract or calling a contractor back or looking over some pictures or researching some deals. You're doing something. The hours are definitely in there. And finally, what are your resources? Just because I want to be an NBA player, if I'm not 6'7" with some sort of athletic ability, is that really what I'm best suited to do? And I'm not saying you have to have a ton of resources to be a real estate investor or a ton of resources to be a real estate agent, but you do want to look at the tools that you have available. What gifts did God give you? Because if you're not really a people person and you don't like talking to individuals, or you hate numbers, or you hate contracting, or you can't stand going out of your house, which I think that hopefully this doesn't turn us all into a bunch of agoraphobics that are afraid to leave the house after this is all over. But you have to have some sort of skill set that enables you to do the job in which you're signing up for. So for instance, an agent, you're going to want to have some sort of a personality. You're going to want to talk to people, and you're going to want to be out there and be able to interact and persuade in some ways, even though you're not supposed to steer as an agent. But as an investor, you have to have a love for the numbers and contracting and analyzing deals and wearing lots of hats, and hate to say it, but the ability to handle a little bit of stress. Because any job's stressful, but the more hats you have on and the more parts of that working machine you have, the more chances are that something can and probably will go wrong. So let's jump in and talk about the pros and cons here. The pros and cons of being an agent or an investor. All right, well, the pros about an investor is you're not really regulated. Now, when I say that, I mean, it's not like you can go break the law. That's not what I'm saying. But the vision of real estate is regulating realtors to a different standard than they are just us dumb, lame investors that are buying and selling properties. So it's not that you can go out there into the Wild West and do anything that you want to do, but you're not held to the same standard as a licensed professional. Now, no offense, realtors, I took all the classes. Full disclosure, I did the fast track the classes. I went to all of them. I never took the test. Now, I know there's a window of opportunity I have to take this test, and I haven't ruled out taking it yet. Heck, putting this together today, I haven't thought about, I don't know, maybe I should take the test. I don't know. But I never did. But I can tell you in the class, just because you listen to what they say and you can pass the test, I think that term like licensed professional and held to a higher standard and knowing more is pretty loosely put out there because I didn't feel so enlightened when I left there. I'm not saying I didn't learn anything, but the things I learned didn't really put me at another level I didn't feel. So the cons of being the investor is you got to have skin in the game. And I know you hate to hear this because so many people have listened to a lot of wholesaling classes out there and you think, well, I can wholesale and I can assign contracts and I don't have to have any skin in the game whatsoever. However, you really do. To be a wholesaler, I'm going to talk about wholesaling a little bit because so many people talk about wholesaling these days. And wholesaling, you really need to have what's called the intent and the ability to close the deal. And what that means is this. If I'm going to go take a $100,000 house, I know that magical $100,000 house that probably doesn't exist anywhere, but we're going to use this $100,000 round number house. And it's a $100,000 house. It needs $10,000 in work. And I go in there and I put a $60,000 offer on it, all cash, close quick. I need to have the ability and the intent on closing that because I'm tying up somebody's asset and telling them that I'm closing. Now, I know to us investors, it doesn't seem like it means a lot, like, whatever. I'll try to assign the contract. If I can't assign it, I'll just use my weasel clause and walk away. But think about this. Think about that homeowner that is living in that house, that they see a signed contract and they think, boom, I have my house sold. So they've already bought another house, started moving their family there, whatever the case may be, started moving out, getting things ready, and then you yank the rug out from under them. Not really fair to do. So that's why you need to have the intent and the ability. Now, the ability doesn't necessarily mean you have to have all that money in your bank account, but you need to have a financial backer or someone that's going to lend you that money if you plan on closing. So that's really, you got to have some skin in the game and plan on closing that deal. So being an investor, you get to keep all the profits. If you're going to assign a contract, if you're buying something for 20 grand and selling it for 30 grand, you don't have a broker you're splitting with. Now, when I say keep all the profits, you're going to have your marketing cost and everything else involved. And if you have an administrative assistant or anyone else, that's fine. But you get to keep that money. You're not splitting it with somebody. See, when you have that agent-broker relationship, sounds crazy, but the broker that's above the agent, the one that has the license, that holds the license for the agent, they have a lot of responsibility and paperwork and compliance they have to deal with. Crazy, they want paid for it. They want to make money. They're in business too. So they do take a piece of the pie. But what's cool about that is you have some built-in structure. Whereas real estate investors, we're like just the Wild West out there crazy, just doing whatever. I'm going to buy this, sell this, however it might be going. Agencies and brokerages typically have structure to them, especially when you get into the big name ones. When you get into the larger brokerage houses, they have more structure that you fall within. Because I can tell you, when I went to the real estate classes, I got done on the last day, and I started asking all kinds of questions like, well, you didn't tell me anything about like how I'm going to cultivate my buyers or my sellers or how I fill out a purchase agreement or disclosures. And they go, yeah, your broker handles all of that. I'm like, oh my goodness. So the broker has a lot of responsibility for continuing the training and then also continuing this journey and giving you the structure. Now, see, with investors, there's lots of training programs out there. That's why we're all part of RIA, the Real Estate Investors Association, which we're a very unique RIA here at Greater Cleveland RIA. We don't have a lot of sales pitches. We're not putting people on here that are selling the dream and at the end of this talk, giving you just enough to get you excited and selling you $1,000 course. I'm not saying that those are bad courses. Matter of fact, a lot of my friends sell these courses and they're 100% spot on. There's good knowledge there. But usually you're paying for that continued education and you're paying good money to learn that next step in how to take your business to the next level, where agencies, the brokerages are usually just handling that. However, they're not teaching how to go out there and conquer the world normally. They're teaching how to go out there and just make a living. So I know this probably gets a lot of people fired up, but I can cross the sign. And what I mean by that is if I see a real estate agent sign in the front yard, I can walk directly up to that seller the person that owns the property and say, hey, I see Joe Smith has your house listed. If Joe Smith falls on his face and doesn't seem like he can really get the job done, why don't you keep my card, because I'd like to write you a cash offer on this house if it doesn't work. Now listen, your best option is to go ahead and sell it with Joe Smith. He'll find you a buyer, full price, take it and move on. However, if your time and circumstances change, call me, because I can write a check. I'm not calling Joe Smith. Don't tell me to call Joe Smith. I'm not going to call him. I'm going to talk to you if it falls apart. I can do that. An agent cannot. An agent, you'll lose your license doing stuff like that. So you cannot cross the sign as an agent. However, you do have a network of agents you can deal with, which I don't, which is really cool. So by having that network of agents to deal with in your office, you're going to get a lot of those pocket listings, a lot of those off-market deals that I'll never see, that I have to go turn over 1,000 rocks, where they're all interconnected as agents, and they can all pass these deals back and forth. And before they even hit the MLS, they have 3 days, I believe, before they have to put them on the multiple listing service. And inside that 3 days, I believe it's called a pocket listing. So that's a good time for you to hang out with all your buds, the other agents, and you have a network of people that you can grab deals from. Okay, you can kind of set the buy low pricing and everything. If I go into a house in Pepper Pike, and this is a $500,000 house, and I see that it's someone sitting there at the kitchen table that clearly has depression on their face and says, I got to get out of here. I got to go wherever. I can't live here anymore. And they own it free and clear. I can, as an investor, say, I'll give you $100,000 for it. I think that's a fair price. Now, is that ethical or not? I don't know. That's your own moral compass and your own conscience to say, is that ethical or not? But I can't be the buyer or seller. My role is the buyer. It's their job to be the seller. However, as an agent, you really need to first disclose you're an agent, be held to a higher standard, and also have your client's interest in mind. So to go in there, it's best to advise them. Now, what I do, I still take that mentality like I'm an agent, even though I'm not. And I do exactly that. I'll tell people, look, you could get X amount of dollars for this house. It's a mess. It smells. You got to clean it out. I can give you some great context. Clearly, from the beginning of this presentation, you saw I have plenty of context that I could refer out to people. And you can call these folks and you can get your house cleaned up, staged, cleaned, looking better, fix the things. You can list it, you can show it, you can sell it, and you can make all the money that I'm going to make. So where I'm offering you 70 cents on the dollar and taking repairs off of that, you don't have to do that. You can do it all yourself. However, if you're going to do it on this house, you should probably be doing it on other houses too. And now you're just like I am. You're an investor and you have a new career. So you're welcome for giving you a new career. I can tell you to this day, nobody hardly ever takes me up on that. People are always like, nope, I'll take less money for it. You take the headaches and you walk away with it. So, but as an agent, you're going to have a lot more trust in the market. As an investor, we're looked at like vultures a lot of times. You know, the We Buy Houses guys, you know, you hear, oh, we steal houses. We're taking all your houses. We're not giving them fair money for them houses. That's not true. We really are. But agents are looked at more professional. Like these guys really are on the court of public opinion, held to a higher standard and respected more. Not so much, if you look at generations, like millennials, they don't respect authority as much. But like our parents' age, the boomers, they're all about the authority and the license. And that's why for so long, agents, the brokers would really make them look and act a certain way in public. Now, it's not so much anymore. Now it's kind of more of like the jeans t-shirt doesn't matter sort of stuff. But back in the day, if you remember, most agents had to look sharp all the time. Like the men agents were wearing ties, the women wearing dresses, makeup done, driving Cadillacs. Everyone's driving their Cadillacs and Lincolns around. They're always on their sign in their front yard like this, looking like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. They have that professional image. Whereas investors, we just look like a bunch of grubby old landlords carrying rings of keys around, hopping out of pickup trucks and making cash offers on houses. So we're not quite as respected as some of the others are. So we can buy and sell for sale by owners, which is cool. And, you know, as an agent, not really for buying and selling the for sale by owners, because your broker is going to want a piece of that pie if you start doing that. Again, we're out there, it's the Wild West. We can kind of do what we want. Where an agent has lots of rules they have to follow from the broker, the mothership, because they're going to have their own rules and their own systems and processes, which is what keeps order within the realtor community. So agents, though, they get commission, which is pretty cool. So I'm a little jealous of this. I'm not going to lie. I am jealous that when, you know, some of the investor friends, the guys that are the hybrids, when I have these guys and girls that do the exact same thing I do as an investor side, and they go buy that $100,000 house, and now they found that house off the multiple listing service, and they get to take 3.5% or 3%. They put an extra $3,000 in their pocket from that deal that I don't get to do. Now, I pass that on to one of my real estate agent friends and say, hey, represent me in this. Or a lot of times I go directly to the selling agent because I want them to get both sides of the commission, because although you real estate agents are not supposed to steer in any direction and let people make their own independent decisions, you know, greed takes over. And if you're getting a double dip commission, you're probably pushing to take my offer over someone else's. I know you would never admit that, but it's our secret, right? All right. So I refer deals out to other agents, like I just said. So it's nothing for me if I do have a deal that I'm going to send to somebody. Let's just say, for instance, I go to a house, I do want to double dip, and there's a house that I don't know who the agent is, it's bank owned, but I want to call the listing agent and let them take both sides of it. I want to do more than just let them take both sides. I want to let them know that I did that. And it's kind of like the Godfather days saying, you know, I may call you for a favor someday. Well, it's the same thing. You're calling them for a favor someday. Say, bring me deals first. Call me first. I took care of you here. Remember me. When you have that house that you're grabbing before it hits the MLS, you have that couple-day window, call me. Let me know you're about to sign on that. You can get double commission again. Wouldn't that be cool? So we go back to that again. And again, the cons are that the realtors or real estate agents, and I'm going to talk about that in a second here, the difference between realtor and real estate agent. The realtors and agents, they get paid on the deal. So all the crap I just talk about, they get to get paid for. So they can get referred in and out of deals all the time. And they're just kind of getting found money. I literally have an investor friend. I don't know if he's on this call or not. He may or may not be. But I'll bet you just picking up side deals between him and a couple agents he has, and he's not even a known broker. He's a no-name broker. He's probably cracking $100,000 a year in just commissions with his brokerage. Now, he is a broker and has a couple of agents under him. So he does pretty well with it and just found money. And he reminds me all the time that I do leave money on the table. So the pros of being the investor is you can build a business. You can build a whole business out of this. You can have acquisition managers, disposition managers, finance managers. I always like to compare ourselves to like owning a car lot. It's kind of like you're owning a car lot. People, you know, it's going to buy here, pay here. You're working deals out. You're trying to negotiate a deal on the buy, negotiate on the sell, find them the financing, help them out with all their ancillary needs like their tires and oil change. You're helping them out with their management and their rehabs and so forth. All that exact same stuff. You're building a regular business versus with an agent, they're building a team, and the team is a little cooler in some ways because in building a team, and I'm not going to do brand names here, but there's some that, well, I will say it. Yeah, I know like EXP and I know Keller Williams are two of the big ones out there that you can put like almost an MLM. You can put teams under you and you're making rips of what everyone else is bringing in. So you can recruit some agents and build people below you, and you're making money all the time on that, which is a business, is a little less structure, and you have to kind of figure that out on your own. Now, there's a lot of people out there that will sell the ideas and the programs and the structure for you and the blueprints, if you will. If you look on Facebook, just anyone that has a Rolls Royce parked in front of their jet is going to sell you some way that's going to tell you exactly how to do this stuff. And they probably will. You might pay $20,000, $30,000 to learn it. However, they will teach you some ways to build a business. But with agents, it's such an old, tried and true, just simplicity for the systems and processes, and very easy to work your way into with a low barrier to entry. So if you want to be an agent, you decide. You just listened to all this stuff I've told you. You're like, yeah, I think being an agent is going to be a cool idea. That's what I want to do. So before you just go grab any broker out there, you definitely want to do some due diligence, because they're all not created equal, believe me. So the question you want to start asking, what's the split? Like, how much am I going to get? If it's a $100,000 house, there's a 6% commission. That's going to be $6,000 that we're splitting up, right? If I get both sides of the deal, if I get the listing agent and the buying agent, if I'm the buyers and seller, represent both sides, $6,000. Mr. Broker, how much are you taking of that? Now, different agents are going to do different things. If you look at like the Howard Hannas of the world, they're pretty good size. I mean, Hobie built this big company, and they really cater to more of the soccer moms, the part-time agents that are out there that need a lot of support, but they're listing nice, clean, high-end homes, but they're not being generous with their splits with their agents. Their agents aren't getting a ton of the money. However, what they're doing is they are giving a ton of support and a ton of structure. They're really giving a lot of that. So it's really okay for someone that needs a lot of that. But zero freedoms, if you're trying to do investment stuff or anything, they're going to frown upon all of that stuff. Versus the smaller brokerages, you might be able to work out a more generous split. There's things all the ways down to desk fees that you get. So what I mean by that is you might have brokerages that will say, hey, it's $1,000 a year to keep your license here, but then you just keep 100%. Or maybe it's going to be $500 on every deal you do just for compliance, and you keep 100% of the deal. That is a deal that some of the smaller brokerages will work with, which in my mind's eye, I don't know if I'd ever want to be a broker. I think I would just go work an awesome deal like that and let them have all the compliance issues and all the paperwork and all the headaches to deal with in being the broker, for me to spend $500 a deal or $1,000 here or there or anything else. It's just way easier for that. But you have to ask them that. Ask them what the split is. Ask if there's a desk fee. They have to pay you every month. Figure all that stuff out. Don't just jump into it. And then find out, can you sell your own properties for free? There's a lot of agents that want to go out there and rehab. They want to do their own deals. They found the house on their own. They found it by owner. They rehabbed it, and now their neighbor wants to buy it. The neighbor wants to buy it. They cultivate it on their own. Most brokerages are going to have a problem with that. They're not going to be cool with just saying, well, you just write your own contract that's not part of the agency and go and sell it and don't pay me. They might give you a reduced commission. They might not. You just have to figure it all out and ask them exactly what they're going to want if you find deals like that put together. Processing fees. These things irritate the heck out of me, man. These doggone processing fees. Some of these agents, what they'll do is they'll do their 6% commission, but then they'll charge like a $750 processing fee, which is just a BS fee. Now, why does that matter to you as the agent? It's not like you're paying it. It's not that, it's coming out of your pocket, but it's going to tick off your client. I had an agent one time that I gave him both sides of the deal. I gave this guy both sides. And it was an expensive house I sold. It was a couple $100,000. And he was clobbering it on there. And I said, man, you have to get rid of these. You have to get rid of this processing fee for me, because it's $750. I'm already paying the double fee. I'm just not going to pay it because my broker won't get rid of it for you. I go, well, you know what? You need to drop your commission and you need to eat. He goes, I'm just not doing that. I'm like, I brought you a lot of deals. I bought from you. I'm letting you sell this. You're making like 12 or 14,000 from me this afternoon. I'm asking you to eat $750 because it's just not right to give me this BS processing fee. He goes, oh, sorry, I'm not going to do it. Well, guess what? Never called that guy once since then. I think I've seen him a couple times and said hi to him. And he was someone that in certain areas that I dealt in, if I was coming in as an investor to buy the house and it just wasn't something that I could actually buy, like I said before, I can refer to other agents. I would throw that out and say, hey, man, here's someone. They have a $100,000 house. I offered them 60. They got to get 75. I just can't pay 75. It needs too much work. But why don't you list it for them at like 89.9 and maybe help them out? And I'd give him stuff like that a lot. No more. all because of that stupid processing fee. So you want to find out about those processing fees. All right, we're here next. Do you have to be a realtor? I was going to touch on that earlier. The realtor thing. Now, the difference between a real estate agent and a realtor, at least here in Ohio, in Cleveland, is like KBOR, the Cleveland Area Board of Realtors. And a realtor is like a trademark name. And just because you're an agent doesn't mean you're a realtor, but if you want to be on the multiple listing service, you have to be a realtor. That MLS is something that they belong to right there. So you want to find out, because I know, believe it or not, it's not free to be a realtor. they do want their money. They take their money. That's why this Greater Cleveland REIA, that's why we're so inexpensive. Like $20 a month or a couple $100 a year, you get tons of value. I don't know what realtors charge, but someone if I put that in the comments here in a little bit. And they do charge. So you want to find out if you have to be a realtor, especially if you can do some commercial stuff. There's no real benefit. I think they are starting an MLS commercial side now to kind of go up against oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it right now, the big commercial site on there. But anyhow, is there a team structure? You want to find out if you can build a team under you, because a lot of times you're an agent. I know if I was an agent, I promise you right now, I could probably put 5 agents underneath me in the next couple of weeks. I could call people and say, hey, move your license over here. Come with me. Let's do this. Let's build a team together. Let's work together. Wouldn't be hard to do. And what's cool is, again, if you have that structure. Now, I'm going to throw a shout. Keller Williams and EXP are the two that have that. I know Keller Williams really was the starter of now. A lot of people are going to EXP. I don't know enough about it to say which is better or anything. And I'm sure the people in the comments will be telling me which is better. But they both have those structures that you can make a lot of money on the backs of other people in there that you bring into the system. So not a bad thing to be a part of. You can do it. Tech support. Oh, goodness gracious. This is actually recently I was talking to my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law went and got her license in another state. And I really did refer her. I didn't refer her directly, but I said, you probably should go to a bigger brokerage. Normally, I would tell people to get to a small brokerage so they keep more money and they have more freedoms. They can do more stuff in buying and selling and so forth. But so new in the business, not a lot of investment experience, really needs that tech support. Needs someone to say, I don't understand how to fill out this form. Where do I get this? What do I do next? How do I get this to the title company? The title company's giving me a hard time. What do I say next? Just really having that support, that means a lot if you're just starting out and you're not already an investor. The more you learn, the more you do. I mean, I'm telling you, you'll probably want to get away from all that tech support, because that tech support is kind of, let's talk politics for a minute. So many people I can get to drop off this call, but it's kind of like, big government, small government type stuff. Some people need a ton of structure. Some people need communism. They really do. They love that. They want to be told what to do and what they can have, what they can't have, and how things work. Other people want so much freedom. It's crazy. Like, to a point, it's almost anarchy. Now, there's probably somewhere in the middle where most of us are, that we're not complete anarchists or complete communists. But some people, everyone, there's a reason Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors. Let's leave it at that. All right, expectations. Talk about expectations. Talk about when you're getting ready to go on with a brokerage, talk to them and say, hey, what do you expect? Here's what I expect. Are you expecting me to come in the office and do desk time? And I don't do that anymore because we all have cell phones and not landlines. But back in the day, you'd have to sit up front and answer the phone calls coming in, which isn't bad because it's a good lead generation system. But do they expect that from you? They expect you to take clients around the back of your Cadillac and show them stuff. They expect you to spend your own money on these fancy big metal frame signs with your picture on, looking like Uncle Rico again from your what the heck is it, from Napoleon Dynamite. Ask if you have office space. Find that out. A lot of places are almost virtual anymore. They don't even want office space, especially since this COVID thing. Who knows? But do you have office space? Will you be allowed to go in there to work? And if so, I mean, you have keys to the office. Can you stay there? You have your own space. Just the cubicles. It's shared. Find that stuff out there. Ask them if they're providing leads. Are they going to give you buyer and seller leads? Are they going to let you run stuff, or is it up to you to provide all the leads? Ask if they have an ABA title company. This is pretty important. ABA title company is an affiliated business arrangement with title companies. And It's really kind of BS, honestly, because the title company is supposed to be a third independent party. But that third party is supposed to have nothing to do with the transaction, and they take the buyer's funds, title work from the seller, put things on a HUD, disperse the money, and transfer the property independently. Well, ABAs means that somebody's getting a kickback off of that. So now, I don't know if this works, because agents and brokerages are supposed to have their client's best interest in mind. But yet they take these companies, these ABAs, and set them up, and then they take a kickback from them. But here's the problem. To get that kickback, they have to raise the price of the title and closing fees. So they're paying more to get the kickback. So really, it's not even the best interest anymore of the person. And they're getting paid for something by their client that they really had no involvement, nor should have had any involvement in. So you don't want to get stuck in a situation where you're heavily influenced to use a particular title company all the time because your broker has an affiliated business arrangement with them. You want the freedoms to go wherever you want, whenever you want. They can't tell you exactly what to do, but they can strongly suggest, of course. Ask them if they manage any properties, especially if you're an investor and you're selling turnkey stuff. If they're property managers there and you can take a couple percentage for helping with the property manager or bringing them new clients, that can be a nice residual income for you as an agent. If you're an agent, let's say you're getting a 10% rip on, you bring someone a building that's bringing in $10,000 a month for them to manage, they're going to give you 2% for bringing it in. You can make a couple $100 a month just for bringing them a client. That's $2,400 a year, and that's residual by bringing management in there. So ask them if they manage properties and also work that into your deal with the split. And most importantly, ask them if any other agents there are investors. Are you a lone ranger? Are you in there full of a bunch of just the professionals wearing the gold jackets and the dresses, driving Cadillacs and showing owner-occupied beautiful homes in the suburbs? Because as an investor, it's probably cool to be around other investors. Now, I will say this in full disclosure. I watch $1 million listings once in a while out in LA or New York, where the heck the show's on at Bravo. Those guys make so much stinking money, and they're not dealing with investment stuff so much. They are dealing with owner-occupied properties, these $2-3 million houses, $5 million houses, $10 million houses, making crazy big commissions and dealing with homeowners. So again, how do you want to make your money today? Do you want to run a lemonade stand? Do you want to be an agent? Do you want to be a contractor? What do you want to do to earn a living today? So maybe this whole thing isn't for you. Maybe you do just want to be an investor. Maybe you just want to be like, oh, Rob the house guy here and say, I took the classes. I don't want to be an agent right now in my life. Of course, again, always swaying back and forth there. But maybe you just want to be an investor. So you got to consider some stuff here. First thing is you have to educate yourself, because where I talked about before that, to be an agent, you have to go through. Local company here is Hondros College. You can take the 2-week fast track program and I don't know, for $1,500 or something, get licensed. And you'll get some basic education. Then you have to go and you're underneath a broker, which your broker is going to further mentor you and give you systems and structures and help you fill things out and learn the ropes and do everything. As an investor, you can literally just say, I'm an investor. That's what I do now. I'm a real estate investor. I watched a YouTube video and they told me if I get a house under contract that I can sell my interest in that contract and make $10,000 in 24 hours. That's what I do now. And really, that's the extent of people's education sometimes that go into this. But that's why there's not a high success rate. For the amount of people that call themselves investors versus the amount of people that actually close deals and make money and make a living in this business, there's a vast difference. So you really want to be one of those people to educate yourself. There's nothing wrong with buying some books and tapes and courses and weekend boot camps and all that stuff if you can afford it. Most of these guys are pretty darn legit, and they really, really do know a lot about the business. And even if they're not doing it themselves, they're telling you a lot of the basic outlines and structure of it. I can tell you, I know a ton of these guys that do this. A lot of them, they're not really doing the business as much as someone like me is, that's actually in hard doing every day, but they know the basics to teach it. I always say those that can't do it, teach it. So least you can learn something. So educate yourself. You need to become a transactional engineer for investment purposes. It's not like an agent. Agent's very simple. Like, I list the house, I sell the house, and then after I sell the house, I get my commission. There's not a lot of ways to really finagle. I mean, maybe a net listing or something of that nature, being a buyer's agent or a seller's agent. There's not a lot of working parts. As an investor, my goodness, you could be a rehabber, you could be a landlord, you could do commercial, you could do residential, you could do buying and selling of notes, you could do buying and selling of options, buying and selling of lease options, doing lease options yourself. You could be a lender, you could be a hard money broker. There's a million things as we call ourselves investors. So we really need to dissect that and think of, yeah, there's some things you want to specialize in more. But as something's thrown at you, you need to be that transactional engineer. You need to be that ninja, basically. Think of this. Think of like if someone's MMA fighter. They don't just say, well, this is my right kick and my uppercut. Those are my two things I do. They have to do anything because they have to do what's being thrown at them. Because the more things that they can handle what's thrown at them, the more opportunity there is to make money. Now, I'm not saying be a jack of all trades and a master of none, but understand all the ways that you can work a deal because you're really just a problem solver. Somebody has a piece of real estate. They have a problem. They're trying to solve it. You're trying to solve it for them. By you solving it for them, there has to be some solutions. If you go to the doctor, they don't just say, here's this pill, take this pill, take this pill. It's the same pill for everyone. There's a multitude of different things that they're trying to prescribe, or at least they should be if they're all ethical. There's doctors there. So set up your goals and set up your plan. Figure, what do you want to do as an investor? Are you trying to accumulate X amount of properties, have X amount of cash flow, X amount of equity? Are you trying to flip so many deals? Are you trying to rehab so many deals? What are you trying to do? That's the biggest thing. What are you trying to accomplish when you start out in this? Because again, beginning with the end in mind, look at exactly what you're setting out to do. If you're looking at probably like, I'm a transactional guy. I like to get in and out of deals. I don't like to hang on to a bunch of stuff. So if I'm personally looking at getting in and out of stuff, I'm looking at it different than someone who wants to buy and hold. If someone's trying to buy and hold a bunch of properties, they might not be selling the stuff that I'm trying to sell. If I get an opportunity to buy a house that's like right now, we're in a house right now that we took it over someone that I think there's 50 owed on it. It's probably worth maybe 135 right now, fixed up, and we're selling it. But if we were in the plans of keeping it as a rental, that'd be a great rental. That low loan to value, great rents on the thing. It'll rent for $1,250 a month. Everything would be perfect. But we're in the mindset of selling it. So our goal is to sell it and roll that money. So have your plan in place there. This is a tough one. Follow the rules. Don't pretend you're an agent if you're not an agent. Now, it's not like impersonating a police officer. We're going to have a gun and a badge or be like one of those security guards that buys the old ex-Crown Victoria and drives around like they are cops, but they're really not. Same thing. So many people get into the fact where they're just trying to market other people's properties. They have no equitable interest in it. They have no ability to close, no intentions on closing. Heck, they don't even know anything about the house. They don't even know who the seller is. They're daisy chained down 2 or 3 people. That is acting like a realtor without a license, and that will get you an invitation to speak with the Division of Real Estate. Ask me how I know. And I was been doing crazy stuff like that, and I still got called down there on the carpet, and they let me know, after they try to figure out for themselves what's right and what's wrong with showing pictures of a house or not showing pictures of a house or mentioning the address or not mentioning the address. But regardless, just follow the rules. Don't market something unless you actually have a physical contract on it. Don't market something or get a contract on it unless you have a financial backer or someone that can actually close it with you and partner with you on it or lend you the money on it, or maybe you have the money yourself. But don't just go out and tie a bunch of properties up and throw crap against the wall and see what sticks for a multitude of reasons. One, because if you're really not going to buy it and you're really just going to probably walk away, that's kind of wrecking it for the rest of us. Because then if you say, and that $100,000 house, well, I'll give you $75,000 for it. We'll just take a wing and see what happens. Well, even when you don't close on it, then now when I go up there, I'm like, look, I can only give you 60 grand. They're belief system that I'm going to close and I'm different than you is already shaken. They're like, nah, I went down this road before. I don't know about that. It doesn't sound right to me. So that's one thing. You just don't want to do stuff like that. It hurts the rest of us. Plus, when you go in there and say, well, I'm going to pay 75, and maybe they don't give the contract right away, and I go in and say, I'm going to give you 60 for it. They say, well, I've already been offered 75, but that person's not going to close. I know who that person is. They don't have the ability to close, the intent on closing. They're going to just try to sell to me for 75 or for $80,000, I should say. So with that, just be cool, follow the rules, be a good wholesaler if you're out there wholesaling. Build yourself a system. Go out there, even though you're not an agent, be a part of putting a system together that works. Like properties come in, I analyze them, I make the offer here, I put them into a follow-up system because the money is in the follow-up. You've got to follow up with all these people. All these people today, it's like we're just a bunch of farmers is all we are. I say this all the time. We take a seed, we put it in the ground, we water it, we cultivate, we put some fertilizer on it, some sunshine on it, some water on it. Keep doing that. Come back 6, 12 months later, a year and a half later, it's cultivated and we can eat off of the fruits then at that point. Now, that type of farming is how farming has been done since the beginning of time. We are very fortunate that we are super farmers because sometimes you just have to drop the seed in the ground, it grows and you cultivate right away and you make money right away, which is pretty cool. But that is just called a freaking miracle. That doesn't mean that it happens like that all the time. It is a miracle when you go in and give a offer that you can make a bunch of money on and get it accepted right away. It's usually cultivation over time and putting together a relationship. And I'm not saying it has to take 6 or 12 months. It might take 6 or 12 days, but nevertheless, the money's all in the follow-up. Treat this as a business and not a hobby. A lot of people don't take the time to build the systems. They don't build the follow-ups. They don't look at their goals and what they're trying to accomplish here. So treat it as a true business because that is, again, how the professionals, the agents would treat it. So treat it the exact same way. Building a brand and a network. It is not an accident that I say I'm Rob the House Guy. Not an accident. It says it. I'm the house guy. I buy and sell houses. It's pretty simple. It's not some made up weird name. It's the house guy. It has served me very well over the years. It is not an accident that I'm part of the RIA group, that I network with all of you. Well, we used to network in person, which is really cool all the time. We're going to be getting back to that very soon, hopefully. And we would do deals. And there's so many deals and we all get back together. The deals are done in the lobby. The deals are done in the lounge, drinking some muscle vodka at the after the meeting and talking and buying and selling and hanging out. That's really where the magic happens, is networking. And also networking in an area that you are the Lone Ranger. You are the only investor. Hanging out with a bunch of attorneys at continuing legal education or somewhere like that and letting it known that you buy houses, you can close files because they need to close files from probates and divorce and incarceration and everything else. They want to get those things wrapped up. And you can buy the house and close that file for them. So network with the right people. Build a brand. Build something that is actually saying what you do. And really go out there and start growing it. Be like, there's a reason that, you know, Budweiser spends $3 million at the Super Bowl to remind you of something that you're in the middle of drinking in your hand right now. They want to stay relevant and be known. So you have to do the same thing. And building a team. Your team might not be like the Keller Williams or the EXP team or something you take a rip on, but your team is going to be of who's your real estate attorney, who's your insurance agent, who's your banker, who's your title company, who's your contractor, who's your property manager, you know, who cleans the houses out for you. You know, everything. It doesn't matter what it is. You need to have a team that you can pick up on speed dial. Our iPhones all have our favorites list. My family's in my favorites, and a lot of my team's in my favorites because then I can turn off my ringer, so only my favorites ring. But when my favorites ring, I know that it's important because they're not probably calling to say hi. They're calling because we're in the middle of doing something, and they probably need my guidance or I need their guidance in some way. So build your team and start building a team, being loyal to them, and don't nickel and dime your team back and forth, and try not to, you know, let everyone make a few bucks. You know, that's what keeps your team strong. Okay, so now what if you choose both? What if you choose to be both the realtor and you decide to be an investor too? I know a lot of people that do that. There's a lot of folks that straddle that fence. They say, hey, I'm an investor, and hey, I'm an agent. Plenty of them. A lot of my good friends, and I make fun of them all the time. I always say, I hate agents, except for you. I love you. You're great. But I don't hate agents. I just say that joking around all the time. But there's one thing you have to do. Disclose and disclose and disclose some more. That's what gets you in trouble if you don't disclose. You have to let them know you're an agent. You have to let your broker know what you're doing. Do not start doing things under the table. Don't be with a brokerage and start wholesaling houses and assigning contracts and not letting your broker know about what's going on. Do not go into a seller's house and not let them know that you're an agent. Once you decide that you're going to be an agent, disclosure is everything. And I'm not just talking disclosure verbally, disclosure in writing. Write it down a million times, disclose a million times, get all your stuff good to go, and make sure that you're getting everything signed off on and doing everything. That's the same reason when people talk to me about title companies, saying they need an investor-friendly title company. All title companies are just about investor-friendly. I mean, they're not going to lie. They're just following instructions, and you just have to disclose everything. That's it. They're there to be a third intermediate party. So that's it. So hopefully that helped you guys out a little bit here. Let's go jump into some questions here. Do we have any questions? Oh, we have a few. Put them in the Q&A if you have them. Looks like Bernie Sereno, he had something up here to say. Making attorneys online, question a week ago, perhaps you can answer. What do you think about investor purchasing? What do you think about an investor owner purchasing rehab materials versus just specifying contractors buy the materials? This is an anonymous attendee. For asset protection in case a lawsuit to avoid being inadvertently defined as an employer. Story about some investors who bought materials. One of the contractors fell off the roof and later died. The widow sued the investors, lost everything, at least partially because of the materials. I could bring Mike Rickey back in if he would like to raise his hand and answer that. I can kind of answer that too. I'm not an attorney. This is infotainment answers I'm giving you here. Anybody could sue anybody for anything at any time. We put that cool disclosure at the beginning of ours saying, do your own due diligence and everything else. But at the end of the day, you can only be so careful on stuff like that. You know, you just, you know, buying the materials, I'm not real big on, let's see, do I have a attendee raising their hand here? I'm not real big on giving a down payment to contractors, letting them go buy their own materials. What I'm big on is I am definitely bigger on giving either a gift card or paying for the materials at the pro desk when they're walking through at Home Depot, which is nothing wrong with Home Depot. I love Home Depot. You can use our GC RIA line on there to try to put things through bid room on. But I am going to try to support more local, smaller companies that are mom and pops during all this, local lumber yards and so forth. So we'll have to find out if we can do call-in materials on those. Have them carry workman's comp. You can talk to workman's comp is definitely something that is regulated by the state of Ohio. Make them show you that they're carrying all their own insurance and everything. You can talk to Mike Norris over at Farmers, and he can help you with that. And I would just say probably reach out to Mike Rickey directly and ask him what he's thinking on that at 440-331-9600. I'm going to allow David here to talk. David just raised his hand. I'm going to let him jump in here. David, you on?
I should be now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, sir. How's it going?
All right, very cool. Just real quick, I had this come up just recently, and we had found out, by purchasing, the materials yourself and providing, it did open up the door for at least a claim. It didn't get as far as litigation. But the thing that actually saved my guy, and he didn't even know it, his insurance policy had a rider on it to cover that. So, so just talking with your agent, like you just said, there's inexpensive, insurance policies you can get in place during the construction phase to protect you as the owner on those. So just talk on that.
A lot of it has to do if you're hiring the person directly. You know, if I'm the homeowner and I'm hiring David to do my roof, it's one thing. If I'm hiring David to do my roof and then David hires Joe to do the roof and Joe falls off, now my insurance won't cover as a homeowner. Now it's going to be more David,
Right.
the middleman there. So how insured are you? Who has workman's comp? Who doesn't have workman's comp? And as investors, we're all cheap. None of us want to spend that money to hire the guys that have workman's comp and have all the licenses and insurances and everything else. But, you know, do you want to take the gamble? Do you not want to take the gamble? That's just a personal choice. One thing for sure, you start telling people what time to start, what time to stop, having them with those new digital time clocks that pop in off their GPS on their iPhones and buying materials and providing tools, you better be withholding taxes and doing W-2s. Because I think that IRS is going to crack down a lot of that in the coming years, because we went from a society with mom and dads, everyone worked at the steel mills and Ford and Chevy and everywhere else, that there was tons of withholding taxes. Everyone is a 1099 now. From Amazon drivers to people bringing our groceries to our door, to Uber, to Lyft, to everybody's a 1099. So I think they're going to start looking for more of that W-2, because you got to have something to keep the the wheels going here in America. So they're going to try to classify a lot of these 1099 people as employees. I think they're actually doing that with Lyft already for some reason. So Dave, thanks a lot for chiming in there. Appreciate it. All right. Do we have any other questions on here? Any other questions or anything? We're going to be in the questions. It says yes to being. All right. It looks like there's any other questions on there. If you're interested in becoming a member or a vendor, you can visit us directly here at greaterclevelandria.com, or you can call us, not right now because we're all on this, but at 440-485-3443. You can call us on that number. A lot of benefits of doing this. This is really a great organization. How I said real estate agents have the board of realtors. This is what investors have. Investors have the Real Estate Investors Association. And what we do here is normally your fees, which is like $20 a month or $197 a year, which is minuscule. What you do is that pays for our room, which our rooms right now are here, but we have Zoom rooms, but we will be having rooms again coming up here. Hopefully the next, probably meeting after next is what I'm really hoping, unless we have another outbreak. But also we are part of OREA, which OREA is the mothership. That's the Ohio Real Estate Investors Association. And what's cool about them is that they have attorneys on staff that are really like legislation fighters. They go in there and they go against things like point of sale and rental registrations and for investors being treated poorly. So some of that goes towards that, and it helps us all long run. It's not an accident that a lot of these places are getting rid of the point of sale inspections. That's for sure. So next month is our monthly meeting. That's the second Tuesday of the month. We're going back to monthly, like I said, because going monthly is probably going to be a little bit better now that the COVID lockdown is over. If it comes back in effect, God willing, it does not. But if it does, we will probably go back to a weekly at that point. But for right now, going into the summertime, we're all out enjoying the weather and enjoying our freedoms again, that we're not going to do this weekly. We'll do the second Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. Our next meeting will absolutely be a Zoom meeting. We are not going to be going live again yet. However, our goal is it'd be really cool if our July meeting that we could get together again and actually see each other and social distance responsibly during that time. So next month's meeting, we will announce the topic. I'm always welcoming in the comments if you guys have anything that you would like to hear about. We have resources beyond control that we can bring in from anywhere to talk about anything, from attorneys to geniuses on topics to whatever it is. We have the resources to teach you and not sell you. So by all means, please ask for what you want there. And check us out on our Facebook page. It is in the links over there. We talked about earlier today. And you can post all of your off-market properties on there. I would not put the address because you don't want them to get swiped and passed around from the wholesalers that do not follow the rules. But I would, you can go on there to find properties. I'm pretty happy we started getting more active with the Facebook group since this lockdown, because literally I've even found properties on there now looking, I'm like, geez, I wouldn't have seen that before. So that was pretty exciting. We will also have a recording of this webinar on there, plus contact information for all of our vendors. And so we can all help ourselves and help each other between the meetings to keep things going. So I want to thank everybody for attending. Thanks so much for being here. Look for the recording up there. If everyone is all set, there's no more questions. We're going to go ahead and wrap this sucker up. And look at that, less than 90 minutes. Not bad. Thanks everyone for being here. I'm Rob the House Guy. This is the Greater Cleveland Real Estate Investors Association, and we will see you next month.